Hey guys, and welcome back to Mad About Skin. In today's video, we are talking azelaic acid. Recently, there was a huge breakthrough in terms of azelaic acid technology and formulation that nobody seems to be speaking about online. I want to put that right in today's video, bring you guys up to speed with everything that's going on. When it comes to azelaic acid, it is now possible to get far greater results over the counter than any other point in skincare history, and I think that's worth celebrating. And if you switch your azelaic acid serum to some of the brands that's using this new technology, you might be able to level up your results without actually having to spend any more of your hard-earned coin. Sit back, relax, let's talk all things azelaic acid. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you everything you need to know about recent developments in terms of azelaic acid formulation and how it might impact our skincare routines. But I really want to hear from you guys. I want to know what your own azelaic acid experience has been. So reach down into the comments section below and let me know. Are you somebody that uses azelaic acid every single day? If you are, leave the heart emoji and share with me your favorite azelaic acid serum. If you're somebody that's either never used azelaic acid or you just don't see the hype, maybe you just don't think it works for you, then again, let me know by leaving the cross emoji down in the comments so we can see where the true thoughts and opinions in the Mad About Skin community lie. Whatever your thoughts on azelaic acid, if you appreciate this style of content, bringing you guys up to date with everything going on in the skincare world so that you guys can work smarter, not necessarily harder when it comes to your skincare routine, make sure to let me know by reaching down and giving the video a thumbs up and a like. The more likes the video gets, the more widely YouTube will distribute it on its platform. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much to each and every one of you that show up for me day in, day out, because honestly, it means the world to me. Now, without further ado, let's cut that waffle and delve straight on in. So for years, azelaic acid has come in two forms. Prescription strength, usually something like this, which is Skinnerin, one of the most popular prescription strength azelaic acids, and then over-the-counter options. And actually, there was quite a gulf in terms of the performance between the two. Whilst it might seem that you could just shop based on percentage, and that would tell you the whole story, that's never actually been the case. Something like this, Skinnerin 20%, is formulated in a way and tested to make sure that it's delivering a 20% bioavailable azelaic acid. And that bioavailable term is key. The 20% that's in here has been proven to be available to the skin in order to give you that full 20% concentration. That's why you got next level results from something like this that you were never really able to get over the counter. Most over the counter products don't go through the same stringent testing and requirements as a prescription strength option. And so whilst there might have been 10, 20, 15% azelaic acid going into these formulas, they were never actually required to demonstrate that it was going to be bioavailable, so the skin could use all of that 10%, 15%, or whatever the formulation contained. That's why you never seem to get the same results from an over-the-counter azelaic acid as you might have got from prescription strength one. But as all that seems to have changed, as brands shift away from something called azelaic acid suspensions to azelaic acid emulsions. It might only be one word different, but trust me, these are two completely different formulas, and it's really changed up the whole azelaic acid industry, and that's what I want to get into today's video. So for years, we've had access to azelaic acid over the counter, normally in a 5, a 10, and sometimes a 15% strength. People used to report that they got far less prickling when they use an over-the-counter product versus using something that was prescription strength. They often put that down to the fact that 15% obviously is less than 20%, but that doesn't account for the whole difference. In truth, a lot of the old suspension-style azelaic acids weren't really delivering the percentage that we thought we were. We'd buy a 15% suspension, we'd apply it to our skin, but actually less than 10% of the azelaic acid was bioavailable to be able to deliver us those benefits in the skin. And that in truth was the problem. We were selling ourselves short because we were going for a percentage which wasn't actually reflected in terms of the actual percentage that was getting into the skin and delivering the benefits we wanted. All of that is going to change as new emulsion formulations come on the market. And the key differences are the way that they're formulated. So suspensions are azelaic acid suspended, usually in a water-based serum. This is what The Ordinary have been doing for years. This is a great example of an azelaic acid suspension. So The Ordinary 10% azelaic acid is using an old-style formula where the azelaic acid is suspended. So anybody that's used The Ordinary azelaic acid suspension has probably noticed that it comes with quite a grainy texture. That's the nature of that suspension, where it's not evenly distributed amongst the product. You end up with balls of azelaic acid in some parts of the formula, less in others. That uneven distribution distribution makes it really difficult to apply because A, you get the grainy texture, which just isn't pleasant, but also you might end up with areas with more azelaic acid than others. And this can be problematic because it can create something called hotspots, where you end up with a lot of sensitivity in one area where you're getting an increased amount of azelaic acid and less in other areas where you're getting less. You're not getting that even distribution, which really can hinder the benefits that you see. Also, because of the suspension nature of this, not all of the azelaic acid will actually come in contact with the skin. So you're not getting a 10% bioavailable azelaic acid. And that really is the root of the problem. For years, this was the only form of azelaic acid that was actually available to us. And so we persevered. And also, we didn't understand this element of bioavailability. Lots of people have shopped with these old style azelaic acids for years and said that whilst they get great results, they were never comparable to some of the prescription strength options on the market. And as I said, it all comes down to that bioavailability. But things have changed. Brands are now spending a little bit more, investing a little bit more in that development, coming up with azelaic acid emulsions. That's really where, instead of being suspended in a water-based serum, the azelaic acid is actually an integral part of that overall product. It's been emulsified into the product, and therefore it's going to be much more bioavailable than in suspension form. This is a small change, but actually could deliver far greater benefits because you're just going to be getting the actual amount of azelaic acid on the bottle, active in the skin, delivering all those great benefits. It does come with a slightly higher formulation cost. And I think this is why people have been reluctant to go for emulsion forms of azelaic acid over the suspension forms that have been in the market for years. But once you've had that initial outlay in terms of the formulation, the actual cost of creating an azelaic acid emulsion versus a suspension is very, very negligible. And so they shouldn't actually cost a whole lot more. And in this section of the video, I want to share with you my favorite azelaic acid emulsions. Now, all of these have recently hit the market because, like I said, there seems to be a huge shift away from suspensions and into emulsions when it comes to azelaic acid. And that's a great thing. But a lot of these products were formulated in the last 1 to 2 years, which just signifies that shift, which I think is just going to accelerate and grow over the coming 2 years. So first and foremost, let's talk about the Paula's Choice Azelaic Acid Booster. This was one of the first products to come out with an azelaic acid emulsion, and when it hit shelves, people said even though it's only a 10%, they got a lot more prickling with this product than they did with some of their other higher strength options, and they struggled to understand why that was the case. Again, because that bioavailability. This is a 10% azelaic acid that's delivering a 10% azelaic acid result. Compare that to a 15% azelaic acid that's maybe only delivering a 7% azelaic acid result in the old suspension form. And it's not hard to see why. You actually might get more prickling from this product. And again, prickling is the sign that the azelaic acid is working versus using some other potentially higher strength options. This blew a lot of people's minds, but when you understand the way it's formulated, it's not hard to see why. This Paula's Choice azelaic acid booster is phenomenal and really holds a special place in my heart because it was one of the first emulsions to hit the market, and Paula's Choice led the way. Now, this isn't the cheapest product out there. It's a wonderful product, but it isn't the cheaper, and there are some other more affordable options on the market. You guys know I love the Theramid Acid Serum. This is a 15% azelaic acid emulsion, and again was a little bit of a game changer because a lot of people tried this after I recommended it and said, I can't believe how smooth it is. I can't believe that this goes onto the skin with no chalkiness, no feeling of gritty or graininess on the skin. This is like a truly smooth azelaic acid. I'm like, yes, that's because it's an emulsion rather than a suspension, and the azelaic acid is an integral part of it, worked into the formula rather than sitting in suspension mode without delivering the maximum results. This is an amazing, amazing product, which you again will get a little bit more prickling and sensitivity from on the initial application because it is just so bioavailable, but it feels beautiful on the skin, glides on, and yeah, for me was the true revelation point. When I tried this, I was like, yes, azelaic acids can feel good on the skin, apply beautifully, and almost like spread like butter. So this was absolute perfection. And when it comes to some more affordable options, well, I actually created my own azelaic acid, and whilst I was doing so, I knew that I wanted to go down the emulsion route. Yes, it would have been cheaper to go for formulating in suspension mode, but I just knew that that wasn't going to be delivering the best results. And so I created this, which is the Mad About Skin Dual Action Dark Spot Serum. 10% azelaic acid emulsion with tranexamic acid in here too, and alpha-arbutans. This is like a one and done for fading hyperpigmentation, dark spots, and discoloration. The key benefits of azelaic acid, and it uses tranexamic acid and alpha-arbutin to really double down on the results that you're going to see. Because this is in an emulsion form, even though it's just a 10% azelaic acid, it's going to pack a far greater punch than, say, an equivalent in suspension form, and that's why I wanted to go down that route. And I'm so proud of this product. I wanted to be someone that wants to lead the way when it comes to formulations rather than just follow what's already on the market. And like I say, the future really is with azelaic acid emulsions. And if you want something that's super inexpensive but also packed with other beneficial hyperpigmentation fighting ingredients, this is a one and done for your dark spots and discoloration. And I will leave a cheeky discount code to just help you out when it comes to purchasing your skincare down in the description box below, where you can find a link to this and all the other products mentioned today. Yeah, I'm super proud of this because we really went back to the drawing board and said, how can we make the best azelaic acid that is super bioavailable to deliver maximum results? And honestly, I am so proud of the product that we created. And then last but by no means least, we have the Naturium azelaic acid emulsion. Again, it's in the name, emulsion. And Naturium, again, should be applauded for really leading the way in terms of azelaic acid innovation and creating something that's super easy to use, but also really inexpensive. I love Naturium for their formulation and the quality of the products that they create. And this honestly is one of their standouts. If you're looking for a really easy to use azelaic acid that'll slot seamlessly into your skincare routine, but deliver maximum bioavailability in that emulsion form, this is a really great option to go for. What I really wanted to get across in today's video is that when it comes to azelaic acids, everything has changed in 2026. And now might be the perfect time to take a look at the azelaic acid serum that you're using. And if you're not using an emulsion form, make that switch, because it's going to be far nicer in terms of its application, smoother without that gritty, grainy texture. But it's also going to be much more bioavailable, meaning you're getting maximum results, maximum bang for the buck that you've paid for that serum. There are so many new azelaic acid emulsions hitting the market every single month. I'll do an update video to this in, say, a year's time where we can capture some of the newer ones to market. But for me, when it comes to azelaic acid, switching from suspension to emulsion form, honestly, is a no-brainer. Your skin will love it. Your wallet will certainly love it because they don't need to cost any more, and the results you see will go through the roof. And I just wanted to update you guys so that when you're using your azelaic acid, you know how to get the maximum results over the counter. Let me know your thoughts. Has this been helpful and useful? Are you going to make the switch? Maybe you're already using an emulsion azelaic acid, in which case your work here is done. Let me know down in the comment section below, and wherever you are in the world, guys, stay safe, stay well, and love your skin. Take care. Bye.